afternoon to everyone and welcome back to Let's Talk About Gender Gaps with me, your favorite host, Rosana Garcia. Today's program have a topic that we consider the most important highlight to the negative psychological effect and social impact it has had for centuries, which is gender violence. Even if it's hard to believe it, today around the world, as many as one in every three women has been beaten, coerced into sex, or maltreated in some other approach. So, violence against women mutually violates and impairs or nullifies the gratification by women of the human rights and yes, their elementary freedoms. And that's why today we bring you the story of Angela de la Torre Suarez, a woman who was a victim of this psychological and physical abuse, but who comes to tell us her experience from the perspective of a survivor of this violence, to convey a message of support to all those women who are in the same situation. So, I leave you with Diego Laverde, interviewer of our program. See you later.
Welcome, Angela, and thank you for your participation in the program. You can start by telling us how it started in your personal experience.
Thanks to you for the invitation. Well, basically in my case, the violence started with insults. I had known my partner for 20 years and he was a really good person. He started to change in 2015 after the death of his mother. He bought several weapons, including a machete and a shotgun. He became more aggressive, not only with me, but with other people and throughout social networks too. He was telling me constantly that I wasn't doing anything right and that was affecting me really hard.
Would you like to tell us a little more the moment when the violence was unleashed on you?
One night in early November, the violence turned physical. He grabbed me by the hood of my sweatshirt, pulled me out the door, jumped on top of me, and started choking me. I managed to scream and call my oldest son, and then he let go of me and left. We had separated, but things were starting to mend again. When one morning we had an argument, I remember I was in the bathtub, and he came in and shot at me. I only remember the last two shots. I looked up at him and he just said, "Look what you made me do, Angie. You made me shoot at you."
What happened after that moment when you found yourself between life and death?
I remember they put me in the ambulance and I told the paramedic not to let me die because I had to support 4 children. And I spent 3 weeks in the hospital. During that time I was visited by about 400 people, and that's when I realized that I wanted to convey a message. Since then, I do a lot of public speaking, not only about gun violence and gender-based violence in the family environment, but about gun control and mental health. If people are willing to listen to me, I want to talk about the important things. Because we cannot just guide people in the right direction. We must walk with them.
Thank you for sharing your testimony, Angela. It is of great value for us to be able to share your experience and give a voice to support to people who went through or are going through the same situation. And also can see you as a voice of inspiration to fight and get out of gender violence. We come back with you, Rosana.
Thank you, Diego, and thank you, Angela, for your story. And finally, we have our psychological Manuela Mariño with emphasis to the topic genders that give us some recommendation on how to avoid this situation and move forward like Angela.
Good afternoon, everyone. My opinion as a professional, in order to prevent gender violence and eradicate the problem from the roots, we must teach boys and men to incorporate into their life experience and expressions of their own feelings and emotions that enrich their personal relationships and those favor conflict resolution without resorting to violent behavior through dialogue and agreement. And also developing good self-esteem that enables girls and boys to adopt a resolute attitude towards this type of situation. And the most important thing or factor is educating children, putting aside prejudices and stereotypes that have been held for many years, focusing education on being a person without taking into account a specific gender distinction. Thank you so much.
From our house to your house.